It's a cold winter day in Arizona, but that's not gonna stop me from giving you a polyamory update. So very recently, I had a difficult experience with a partner, and it was interesting to receive the feedback from someone in my ecosystem. When I told them about what had happened, they made this comment to me. They were like, "Don't you want someone who's a little more reliable?" And I found that interesting because that seemed to have a negative interpretation about what had happened between us. But I had actually experienced it as very positive because it's different to have a difficult scenario and be a negative scenario. Like, conflict deepens intimacy, really. So just because something is not easeful does not mean that it's not beneficial to the relationship. So I wanted to share with you what happened. It was a little thing. Oh, a little thing. It'll take a second to explain, but it was emotional. And I want to share with you why it was so impactful for me in the best of ways. And the reason I like to share about my experience is, well, because I'm an attachment coach. I help people develop secure attachment as they're transitioning into non-monogamy. And it's not a common path that people take. So it's important for me to provide all kinds of resources for taking this kind of path. It requires a lot of courage and a lot of self-awareness to do this. And there's not a lot of examples in the media of people living this way. So I hope that I can just be one of many data points for you to collect and just model like what is possible in the world. And also, for the people who do want to take this path or who are taking this path, we are stronger in community. And the more I share about my experience, hopefully the less alone other people can feel. So I hope this can provide you some sense of comfort. So let's get into the drama. The thing that happened between my partner and I. We had an intention for them to come visit me for Christmas because I'm living in a different state now. And so, there was all these little logistical things we had to get in line in order for them to come and visit me. So the last logistical thing we had taken care of, and then we were both excited because they were like, "Oh my God, cool, I'm gonna buy my plane ticket now." And instead of receiving their text response being like, "Yay, I booked the plane ticket," what I actually received was a 5-minute voice message of them explaining how difficult it was for them to basically not follow through and buy the plane ticket. So, of course, within a mononormative culture where we are culturally conditioned to expect a romantic partner, usually a singular romantic partner, to be always available and immediately available for us and to us, of course, this could seem like a failure through that perspective. But within relationship anarchy, the whole premise of relationships is finding the middle ground where you overlap between desire and capacity. So with my anchor partner, they clearly had the desire to come visit me, enough so to enter in all their plane information, But the very last second before they hit purchase, their body was very clearly communicating to them that something felt out of balance to them. And so they slowed down and they listened to their body. They didn't know right away what their body was communicating. But then they realized crap, I am not spending enough time with myself. They're going through these big life transitions, aren't we all? But they're just feeling out of balance. And so they reached out to me and they said, "Hey, this is probably going to be disappointing. Brace yourself. But basically, I would love to visit you. It's just kind of not within my physical capacity right now." And so, of course, I'm disappointed. It was surprising to receive that message. And alongside the disappointment and the grief, there's also deep gratitude and celebration. I'm grateful that, one, they have a relationship with their body. They have a very good feedback loop. Their body is telling them what they need, and so I know that they're loving themselves the best way they know how to. Not only does that make me happy, but also relieves a lot of pressure. I don't need to be their daddy or their mommy, you know what I mean? And caretake them. They're capable of identifying their needs and advocating for them. The second thing I'm celebrating is that they were able to name to me what they were needing, even though it felt scary for them. Because, it builds trust with themselves for them to even identify internally, what am I needing? But for them to communicate to me in the face of knowing that it would be disappointing for me to receive, in the face of it feeling challenging to communicate, because even they have to accept this fact that, it's not a desire, it's like a capacity thing. So it was difficult to communicate, and that builds such deep trust for our relationship. I trust that they say what they mean. And I would be so remorseful if they neglected their needs and they put the relationship above themselves, because that would be out of balance, And I know it's like a cheesy classic saying, like, you can only love other people as much as you love yourself. But it's true, goddammit, okay? So what I definitely don't want is for them to neglect their needs, to overextend themselves, to be physically exhausted by the time they get home, even if we have a good time together while we're visiting, because they weren't respecting their boundaries. Sure, it feels disappointing in the moment, and there's grief I need to process in the moment, but that's just a short-term thing. When I know that this person is honoring their capacity and like naming their boundaries in our relationship, that is ultimately more sustainable for our relationship. The whole goal here is balance. It's not forcing yourself to fit into a mold or a script that was assigned to you or assigned to relationships, those societal expectations that like you need to always be available at every moment, kind of like how a mom or a dad would be to a kid. I go deeper into this dynamic in my blog. You can check it out if you want. There's a link in the description. So yeah, a big part of developing secure attachment is expanding your capacity, your comfort zone, with sitting in tension. And part of life is that like you don't always get what you want, and it doesn't mean that you're rejected or that you're a failure or that the relationship is a failure or that something is wrong. It just simply means like there's only so much energetic capacity, So like by saying no to this time consensually, like if they're like, hey, I don't have capacity to come, I'm not going to be like, oh, please come. I'm like, no, I respect you and I love you, so I want you to like honor your needs. And so by saying no together this time, we're creating space for a huge hell yes whenever it is organic in our timelines to link up. They will have capacity that time, and I will too. And so when we do meet up, the quality of our time together is going to be so much deeper. I could keep talking about this, but I'm trying to be more concise and organized in my messaging, because I could just talk for hours, honestly. So let me know what resonates with you. Let me know what doubts you have. If you feel any challenges or obstacles, I'm here as a resource. I'm happy to clarify. I'm happy to answer questions. I can make an additional video if you have a question or a doubt that you would like clarified. And if you're looking for additional support with non-monogamy, there's a lot of resources I have. You could check out the link to my website in the description below. I offer one-on-one coaching, and I also offer communal things like workshops or access to the Love and Liberation Network, where there's a whole community of folks who are doing this work alongside each other, uplifting each other, witnessing each other, encouraging each other, and being imperfect in the process together.